All right, so we're taking a ride in my S2000. This is probably going to be one of the last times I'm going to drive this car. Engine is pretty much prepped and ready to go. It really needs like the transmission now, so I have to start using this car to then take parts and make this conversion happen. I really like driving this car. It's always been really good to me. The engine's super healthy. This is the 2.2 liter, like I had said before. So this is the AP2 S2000. It doesn't rev quite as high as the AP1 version, which is a 2 liter, but the K20C that I'm actually putting in revs only to 7. So that'll be a really interesting thing. It'll make a lot more power, but it's gonna make a lot more, in my opinion, usable power down low, which is actually gonna be really cool because you gotta like rev the heck out of these things to make power, and they're just kind of gutless at the lower RPM band. Not turbocharged, all naturally aspirated. I just love the weight and handling and the dynamics. I love driving small cars. I'm a small dude, but at the same time, like a really small car just always handles better. It's just a lot more fun to drive. If you guys have ever driven Miatas, any other like Japanese sports cars, they're a ton of fun and you can do really cool stuff with them, and you could throw them around and slide them around, and God, I just love being able to daily something like this. It's just a ton of fun to drive. The new engine that I'm putting in is gonna be interesting because it's gonna be way more powerful than this one. So I think that you know, that usable power is going to be way better experience for me because you have all that torque down low, where these are always, you know, gutless and torqueless down low. Now I'm going to have a lot more horsepower under my belt, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so I actually got this car, now that I really think about it, about 10 years ago, which seems pretty crazy. I've been driving this car for 10 years. Buddy Alex from Billet Sports, his shop was right next door to mine at the time. And it was pretty cool. He was like, hey, I got a customer that just crashed his car, so I'm gonna get a car for really cheap. He's like, I don't even remember what color it is. Are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. Like, I really want an S2000. And he's like, yeah, I know you've been wanting one, so that's why I thought of you. I was like, cool. So I was like, what's the price? And it was like 3,500 bucks. The guy had just slid it into a curb. It had some cosmetic, like wheel damage, suspension damage. And I was like, seems like a good candidate. We have parts on hand because, you know, Billet has tons of stuff. So I got parts from them, rehabbed the car. It needed a little tiny bit of body work. Shop next door at the time kind of did a little bit of body work, sprayed the bottom trim area, and it was pretty good. So I got a reliable car for a good price, and that's kind of where the story starts. So I just wanted something I could daily drive, and that was a perfect option because the deal that I was getting. So I kind of thought, well, worst case, I rehab it, I don't really like it, and then I sell it. But I enjoyed driving the car so much that even 10 years later, I still don't want to get rid of it and get a new car. Cosmetically, this car's pretty good. For a daily driver, it's certainly not bad at all, but there is its problem areas for sure. Headlights are totally blown out. I need those to be, you know, completely restored or purchase new ones. And, you know, the body's got a lot of dings and scratches and misalignments, and then a lot of it doesn't match because I have had it painted multiple times for tiny fender benders originally when it slid over that curb, and then whatever the prior owner had done. Mirrors don't match the doors, don't match the fenders, don't match the bumper. So it's all like a little bit wonky from a distance. It looks pretty good. It's definitely like a 20-footer. If you get up close to it though, it's like far from good in my opinion, because I like to put together really clean cars, and even for a daily, I kind of want it kind of perfect. So I have new trim, I have hardtop for it, I have a bunch of parts that'll be really good, but the paint is where I'm kind of like, don't know what to do yet. I went down to King's Auto Body, and they are in Huntington Beach, which is actually right by my house. I met with them, and they quoted me to actually repaint the whole car, minus the engine bay, which is totally an option, and I just haven't decided a commitment yet. So let me know in the comments if you guys think I should repaint the whole car and have it down for however long it's going to be down, or if you think I should just leave it as is and you guys think it's good enough. I'm kind of on the fence, so I guess we'll see what you guys think. All right, so I went through my instruction manual for all my parts, and I torqued everything to what their manufactured specs were, and kind of just like solidified all the parts, kind of did a once over. But I did do a couple things that are pretty cool, and I put on the adapter plate So the adapter plate literally just bolts right on, a bunch of fasteners in the back side, which is the front of the engine side, and then a couple up top inside. And I bolted on my flywheel, so that big thick billet flywheel is on. That little pilot bearing issue, I was able to just massage it down and get it flush, so it was all good. It was super basic. I just didn't want to rush anything the other day. I just don't want to break parts. I want to just think about things if needed. And I'm also like, don't really get filmed on camera very often, so there's that like kind of press of like, you got to do it all right perfectly the first time, and that's not always how it happens. Then the next thing I did is I installed their clutch, and this is the 400 series clutch. So I was kind of right when I said it was 400 something on the last video, but I looked that up. So this is their higher powered like street or performance clutch, and then the throwout bearing, everything is all installed. So that looks really cool. And I also threw these hoses on there. I figured I wasn't really going to be able to get to these very easily, so I figured that was something that I had to do now. So I got those clamped down. I resealed the threaded bungs right there just to get it all done. I ended up using Honda Bond, so that was pretty easy to do. Tighten that up, got these clocked in the right direction. I'm pretty much just planning and prepping to take my car down, which really sucks because at least I have like a truck to drive and I have some other cars to drive, but like, man, your daily driver, you're like waiting, like, okay, this is gonna be out of commission for who knows long until the next time I drive the car, it's gonna be powering under this engine. So that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm really excited for that. Kind of can't wait. So exciting process right here. All right, so over on this side of the engine, there is still definitely some unknowns. And what I wanna discuss with you guys is air conditioning. So I went over to Billet Sports and I grabbed this AC compressor that they had lying around. This is actually an S2000 one. I just kind of wanted to see for fitment. It would be nice to have, you know, this car's an S2000, so you have an S2000 AC compressor. Another option is an aftermarket one. Third option is the factory K20C. So I'm just kind of trying to toy with ideas and figure out how this could actually potentially work. There's a lot of real estate on this side of the engine. So if I just grab this AC compressor and I just kind of hang it in this general vicinity, you know, the lines, for example, have enough clearance for the alternator. Now, the main thing that I see as problematic here, other than making a pretty complicated bracket that probably needed like to be 3D scanned and everything to actually fit, I see that this pulley, the lower side of this pulley, would potentially not have enough clearance, and it's gonna basically, it's gotta come up to this height. So if you could think about it as this belt's coming around here, it'll jump onto the AC, and then as it comes around here to get to back up here, it's gonna get really close to the basically back side of the belt to the back side of the belt. So if I could kind of mock this up again, I see that being kind of problematic. I purchased on Amazon, because free shipping, purchased an AC compressor that's kind of universal, and it comes with a bracket. So I'm gonna try to just mock it against this plate right here, which is a nice flat surface for my mount. And there's a bracket on that Amazon compressor that I bought. And I'm gonna just try to fit it here. And I'm just gonna check to see, you know, if that wheel is gonna be able to, like, I can't really tell if it's gonna work or not. So I'm pretty much just gonna buy the stuff on Amazon, return it if I have to, be really delicate with it, I won't mess it up or anything, but just kind of mock it and see if it's even possible. I like this side of the engine for the AC because there's no charge pipes or anything going on that side. So if we jump over to the other side of the engine, this is where the K20C factory has its AC compressor. And there's a bracket for it, and it'll bolt right on. And I'm sure if I just order literally the belt that's length for the factory, it'll be a direct plug and play, super easy. But the caveat with that, one is Mike from Evasive told me that they're using a factory one and they have AC on their car. They had to clearance some steering rack stuff that would be in like this area on the S2000. Okay, fine, if I have to cut some stuff and box some stuff in, even re-weld some stuff, it's probably okay. But the Science of Speed charge pipe, this is not the Evasive parts, this is the Science of Speed parts. The intercooler that's about here will have a tube that goes this direction, and it actually needs to hook up to here. And that travels straight past, so that charge pipe's coming down, connects here, AC is right here. I have a feeling that there's not gonna be enough space. I don't know that for certain. I don't really know what's gonna happen. I won't know until I kind of get there. But I wanna try to mock up the AC on the other side because it just makes sense to try it out and see how it goes. And option number 2, it could be live on the factory side, maybe, see what happens. And I may have to recreate a charge pipe. Or I may have to use some fancy like ovaled charge pipe and then expanding back to circle. Or I'll have to send the charge pipe up this direction, up kind of next to the turbo, which I don't like. I like it just down, and this makes more sense. But it may have to come up and then somehow go to the intercooler up here and do like a top pipe instead of a bottom pipe. So that's kind of the great unknown for me right now. And I don't really know what I want to buy in preparation, or if I want to just pull the engine out of the car and then kind of like figure it out from there. But I want the least amount of downtime possible. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure. That's one of those things when you're building cars, like you don't really know until you really get into it. And that's definitely one of these situations. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so that's pretty much where we're at with the build right now. Engine is pretty much ready to go. And the next thing to do is pull the old engine out of my daily driver.